Hello, listeners, and welcome to another episode of Subscription Scaled. I'm your host, Nick Frederick. With me today is Chad Kauffman, who is the co-founder of Kitty Poo Club. Chad, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Nick. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate you doing it as well. Why don't we start with tell us a little bit about yourself, of course, some of your background and how you came to start Kitty Poo Club.
Sure. So I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I like to say I was born and raised to be an entrepreneur. Started my first little venture in fifth grade, my second and sixth grade, my third and eighth grade, my fourth in high school, and ended up selling that business, and then another large scale commercial painting company in college, and then came out of college and actually got recruited by the E&J Gallo Winery. And they had one of the best sales training programs in the country. And so while I knew I was born and raised to be an entrepreneur, I decided to go the corporate route and get some larger corporate experience and go through their sales management training program. And grew fast in my career, got into management quickly, learned a lot, and went from there. And so I actually started my first real venture in 2008 with my father, and we got into the plastics industry. He was a former executive with a large consumer products company in the plastics, and we decided to get into recycling. And so we decided to start making plastic consumer storage products out of recycled plastic, which today is very common, but was not common back in those days. And we were actually doing colors and different things. So that turned out to be a great success, and then launched into doing a number of other ventures from different consumer products off of that, and then ended up doing some consulting and while running my other companies. In 2016, I guess it was, I began to look at starting another venture, and I was super fascinated by the Dollar Shave Club and by Michael Dubin, the founder of that company, and what he had done with subscription razors. And so I started looking around saying, wow, what could I do in terms of a subscription business where I could have reoccurring revenue? What industry could I break into? Well, as I started to do the research, it was actually pretty hard to find a multi-billion-dollar industry, which is what I wanted, that there wasn't some type of player already in that industry disrupting that. You know, in those days, you started to see like Casper Mattress and Purple and Harry's Razors and other companies that were coming onto the scene. And my dad actually came to me and said, hey, I have this idea on a disposable cat litter box. And I said to him, Dad, honestly, he comes to me with ideas all the time, and he's really a creative person. But verbatim, I said these exact words to him. I said, Dad, that is the stupidest idea I think you've ever come up with. I just didn't see the vision in it, and quite frankly, I don't own cats, not because I don't like cats. I do like cats. I'm just highly allergic to them. And so we actually had a cat when I was growing up as a kid, and I was just ridiculously allergic to it. And I've never owned one since. So I didn't know a ton about cats at the time, but I was, whatever. I thought it was a terrible idea, but I began to really research it and think more about it. And it was a multi-billion-dollar industry, what I was looking for. And there wasn't anything being done in this space. But there were a few major obstacles, right? The first one being, you would have to develop a cat litter box that could be disposed of, and it needed to be cost effective. Ideally, it'd be something that could be recycled. And there's weight issues, right? So trying to get any scale with shipping would be very challenging. And then you would have to be able to ship enough product that it would last an entire month. For a cat owner, you'd never make money shipping more than, one box at an affordable price to consumers. So I started down this journey of working with my dad and really building sort of a napkin business plan and doing some R&D. And I convinced a local packaging company to take my idea and build me out some prototypes. And having not had cats, I ran a literally a $5 or $10 Facebook ad in my local community and convinced 50 cat owners to try out the initial prototype product. And
did they pay for it, or you were just trying to do some research? Okay,
totally free. It was all R&D. And the catch was I wanted 50 customers that would commit to trying the product for 2 months and give me weekly or bi-weekly survey feedback. So I would send them a digital survey. They would answer the questions. And then I would make new products based on what I was learning. And so a new iteration would come out. I would take that back to them and get new feedback, and a new iteration, get new feedback, and did that probably over the course of several months until we had a minimally viable product at MVP. And we launched a website in, that was October, the very end of October of 2017. And we signed up like 1,200 customers in the first month. And it was at that point, we kind of knew we had a business and had something that people wanted. And so that was the birth of Kitty Poo Club.
That is how it came to be. Wow, that is interesting. I love that, consumer research that you did to just kind of get out there, get some feedback, see what they thought about it. As you, give us some flavor of some of the feedback that you were getting. Like, did they like the design? Were you asking them, like, is this something you would pay for? What sort of data points were you really trying to gather from these people?
Yeah, all of the above. The biggest thing was how the product actually performed, because really with our product, there's two parts, right? There's the cat litter box itself, and that's a big component. That's actually where all of our IP is. I think we have three or four utility patents at this point on our box. And then there's the litter component, right? So the litter in the box, because it's an all-in-one cat litter box. And if both didn't work extremely well, then you really didn't have a product that was going to be of any use to the consumer. We were getting feedback on the litter as well as feedback on the box. And as I'd mentioned, our secret sauce is the box. At the time, we were not making, and we're still not, directly manufacturing any of the litter. We are doing the box side. And so it was really sourcing really good litters that were high quality, but they really had to hold up to our mantra, which is, the 5-second elevator pitch on Kitty Poo Club would be, a disposable cat litter box that's designed to last for a full month for a single cat, no odor, no mess, and minimal maintenance. And so you really needed to have a litter or a substrate in there that lasted that entire month. No odor, no mess, and minimal maintenance to the product. And so we were getting feedback points on how's the litter do from odor control. The most important thing to cat owners is actually odor control. How does the litter track? Does the box hold up? And in the early iterations of the product and the MVP that we were doing is many of the prototypes that we were handling, we could not find a way to make the box not leak. And so the urine was penetrating the corrugate. It would, saturate the box. It would ruin people's floors. In some cases, in the early stages, it didn't ruin. Like we told people put stuff under it to make sure, but I mean, it would have, right? We never had to replace any floors. And then there was just a terrible odor because you had urine saturating a box. And so what you need to know about, and this is probably more than your listeners actually want to know, but cat urine is literally like acid. It eats through practically anything. And so we tried every type of coating under the sun. It seemed like in our tests to really find a coating that worked, that made our litter boxes be bulletproof. I mean, they really are bulletproof. Our boxes could last for 6 months to a year now at this point. I mean, they're amazing product.
Yeah. Are they still 1 month use and then just kind of fold the thing up, throw it away?
Correct. So fully disposable or fully recyclable, whatever you're choosing.
Okay. So what are then now the plans that you guys offer? Is it always one cat? I assume there's plenty of people who have multiple, right? What are the different options that your consumers have?
Yeah. So one of the ways that we designed the site and the subscription portal or the sign up process that you go through is it's virtually limitless. And so we made the product be, or our sign up process be, so customizable that it could be anything that you wanted. So we have 6 different types of litters at this point. We're actually getting ready to introduce a couple more, and you could order as many boxes or as few boxes as you want. I think we have one particular household that orders over 20 boxes a month from us.
Wow, that's a lot of cats. Let's go back to, again, for a second, when you were starting the business. You said you admired Dollar Shave Club, knew you wanted to start a subscription business. When you started down this path, what are some of the early lessons you learned, maybe some things you didn't know about subscription? Because were any of the businesses that you had done prior subscription, or were you kind of greenfielding into this world of subscription products?
Yeah, it was the first opportunity I had to move into this space, and the first time I've actually done an e-commerce company, and so it's been really fun. One of the things though that I knew from previous ventures that I've done was that I really wanted to control the entire process from start to finish and really own and know and understand the customer. I didn't want so many entrepreneurs today, and I can understand where a lot of them go this way. They want to subcontract everything out. I actually wanted to subcontract out very little. I wanted to build the entire manufacturing process, and I wanted to capture and understand and know the customer from the minute they came and signed up. I wanted to actually build and manufacture their product. I wanted to internally handle all of the customer service, and I wanted to be able to respond to what the needs of the customer were at any point in the process, from sign up to manufacturing to delivery of finished goods. And so that was an early goal from the beginning. And so part of the challenge that I had was building all of that from the beginning. And I like to take the analogy of like a 4-legged stool or a seat. And I look at like manufacturing, finance, marketing, and then the website e-commerce side of it. When you did what we did, you literally had to scale all 4 of those legs at a similar rate, or the stool would eventually tip over or the business would fail. And that's really hard to do. And you're also balancing finances and cash flow in there as well. And so, you know, how much do you invest in marketing? How much do you invest in R&D? How much do you invest in operations and fulfillment? How much do you invest in manufacturing equipment? How much do I invest in hiring people in each of these areas? And so we were trying to do it all at the same point. And having never done an e-commerce business and learning all about the digital advertising space at the same time. So it was, I really felt like a one-armed paper hanger in many aspects. At the beginning, I was doing everything from actually going down and building product and packaging product, to hiring people, to managing the supply chain at night, responding to customer support tickets in the evening, and also managing accounting and finance and cash flow. And so it was quite fun trying to do all that while hire people into those positions and train them at the same time. So
that's
a lot
a
of
pretty
lessons
common
came
story.
from that.
I'm sure I'd like to dive into some of those. Hear this a lot from, founders of businesses like yours, where you're starting at the ground up. To your point, you need to grow everything, at the same rate, or at least approximately. And sometimes you just got to wear multiple hats, right? Play different parts of the business. But I think, would you agree that what that did for you is you are now intimately aware of what, kind of what it took to run the business? And when you were going out to try to hire the people who would eventually take over those roles, you knew what you were asking from them, or what were some lessons learned in the early days as you were building those things up?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I mean, I knew every aspect of our business very, very intimately. One of the challenges we had, which many of your guests have stated as well in the process of building a subscription business, is always the management of inventory. And so I did not have somebody that was actively looking at that. It was me just kind of doing some spreadsheet projections. And at the beginning, we only had one type of litter, and that litter came from China. And so, there's a period of time where you have to place an order, you have to allow for manufacturing time, and then you needed to allow for 30 to 45 days on the water. And then there's transport time and getting through customs and actually getting it to our warehouse. So there was about a 90-day period there from the time you place the order to the time you see the product. And in those early days, we were scaling so fast. I mean, I was adding sometimes between 100 and 200 new customers a day. And so trying to project out a full quarter out what you were going to need from a supply chain perspective was very, very, very challenging. And so there was a period of time that I remember I grew faster than I had expected, and we actually ran out of litter. And I thought that I was at risk of losing the entire business because it was subscription, and people then would just end up going to the grocery store and going back to their own old litter boxes and discontinuing their services with us. And I actually ended up paying to have an entire container of litter air freighted over to us, and that was to the tune of about $35,000 at the time I spent on one container being airlifted. But to me, that turned out to be cheaper than the cost of an acquisition of a customer, and so or the cost of losing a customer. And so we made the hard decision to do that. But that was a hard lesson, and was one of those things where I need to find a supply chain manager very quickly that knew what they were doing, and to keep us in a position where that didn't happen.
I'll tell you, I thought that story was going to end with you guys all going to Costco or Walmart and buying all of the litter off the shelf or something like that in order to put it in the boxes.
And repackaging it or something, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, we actually, I'll tell you another quick story of one of the tough lessons that we learned. It actually turned out to be a blessing in disguise, and it actually happened during COVID. It was actually another supply chain story. We actually had a fantastic person managing our supply chain. Still have that person today. But what we didn't see coming was the delays that were going to happen out of China. And so it actually happened in 2021. And it wasn't so much tied to the manufacturer and the suppliers over in China. It was actually tied to all the shipping delays. And the container shipping companies were just full. They were charging absolutely astronomical rates on freight. We went from about $3,500, $3,700 delivered container charges from China to about $18,000 delivered container charges.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was par for the course. I'm then connected with a lot of international importers and freight companies, and we were not being overcharged. In fact, we had actually pretty good freight rates at the time. And delays started happening and started compounding. And we realized as we were seeing some of these projections that we were going to run out of litter. And we ran completely out of litter in August of 2021 to literally not having a box to supply our customers. And we had a very sizable subscription consumer base, and still do at that point. And I was just petrified. I mean, it was sleepless nights. I thought, I'm going to lose the whole company at this point because literally I can't ship a single consumer. And we had another type of litter. It was a clay litter. It was being produced here and still is in the United States. And we had a very significant amount of our customer base using silica-based litter, which was coming out of China. And so I made the decision that I was going to ship all of those silica-based litter customers clay. I wasn't actually going to ask their permission. I was going to charge their credit cards in full, and I was going to write a very heartfelt letter and then place it in their box. I instructed our entire customer support team to refund 100% of their order if there were any complaints. So they would essentially got their box for free. And that we would do everything to keep and earn their business, and we would get them their silica gel product as soon as we had product back in stock. And held my breath and saw what happened. And to my surprise, we lost less than 1% of the customer base that were using it. Everybody completely understood it. And in fact, we introduced them to a new litter that they never wanted to use. And so many of them actually moved over to that type of litter for the future. Yeah, and those that didn't lived with the product that we were shipping them, and we shipped them their normal product when supplies came back in. But to me, it really was a testimony to the love of the brand, the upfront transparency and why we did what we did, our commitment to refunding them if they were not supportive of the product that they received. And it turned out to just be a very, very minor speed bump. But to me, it was a testament to the brand, and we learned a lot from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What a great story. One of the things that we talk about on here is kind of how to differentiate from like Amazon Subscribe and Save, right? That you can click a couple buttons and have cat litter, set on a monthly basis. But, building community, building trust with consumers. It sounds like you guys have done that from the very beginning, but I think that story is evidence of that, right?
Yeah, we could have lost the business there. We could have lost a substantial amount of customers. And I always believe in transparency, and it goes back to really my belief in when I started the company and having that connection with the consumer. I mean, for a company of our size, most people would say we are totally overstaffed on customer support, and I will never outsource that to AI. I get offers all the time. Bring in this software, blah, 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 and use AI and respond to your customers more effectively and efficiently. I will not ever eliminate the human touch. I like to say that we provide a Zappos customer service experience. The customer is always right. We will do whatever we can humanly do possible to service the needs of that customer. And we hear it. I mean, literally, in fact, one of the metrics on our scorecard that we measure every single week is our happiness rating. We look at it every single week, and our customer support manager prides herself on the level of happiness that we have each week from her team.
How do you measure happiness from your customers?
So we use a customer support platform ticketing system called Help Scout, and Help Scout and all of the tickets give the customer the ability to rate their experience and dealing with us. And so that comes back as a digital report to us each week, and our management team reviews that.
Wow, that's awesome. There's a lot to be said too for, it costs a lot to acquire a customer. In most cases, costs less to keep them. I think most everybody's feeling that these days with acquisition costs being so high. Talk us through your journey of customer acquisition, what channels you use, what has worked, maybe some things that haven't.
Yeah, sure. So we've tried a lot. In the beginning, the first 2 years, I built the entire business on 100% on one channel, and that was Facebook. And the years 2017, 2018, it was so easy and so low cost. It was just a matter, and so predictable. It was just a matter of you could scale it up and down by just adjusting your budget. And I didn't need anybody sophisticated. I didn't need anybody that knew what they were doing. It was literally place up an ad, devote a certain amount of money to it each day, and let it run. It is entirely not that today, right? It's incredibly complicated. You need professionals managing this. And there's a level now at which it's sort of sad in a way, because there were so many great companies in those years between 2016 and 2019, 2020 that probably never would be today had it not been for Facebook and for, PPC stuff with Google.
Yep.
The problem is now that it's gotten so expensive that it's really eliminated a lot of people that were in my position back in those days to actually enter in the market. I mean, you've got to pay to play. And you've got to spend a significant amount of money, I think, to move the needle. If you're just throwing at it, $10, $15, $20,000 a month, which is still significant money, you're never going to get anywhere in today's world with what it takes to do things at scale on digital advertising. So, we're spending over $200,000 a month on acquisition now and digital media. And that's just really, and we could spend a lot more. That's just what it takes to get customers now efficiently. We've tried everything though, from billboards to, we did a lot of TV advertising actually during COVID. That actually, we got pretty lucky because I made the decision in fourth quarter 2019 to invest in TV. And so I went out to LA, worked with a big studio, did some commercials. We filmed all of that. We sketched it all out, produced it, and then we actually had it ready to go at the end of February, and we were going to start buying media in March of 2020. Well, of course, that's when COVID launched, was here in the States was, March of 2020. So everybody's at home on their couches and we're starting to buy advertising, and things just exploded. And we did real well with TV probably for about a year and a half. And then costs just started to really escalate. We got lucky with TV because traditionally TV is more top of funnel. And for us during the COVID years, it was more middle to bottom of funnel. I mean, we were converting customers really quick, and it was putting PPC and Facebook on steroids, right? Because they would see our TV commercial, they would look us up on the computer, they would get hit with a cookie, and then they would see a Facebook ad, and then they would buy. And so our attribution model was very clouded and very hard to figure out, but all the channels were humming during COVID, as many companies that were in the e-commerce space were. But we've since turned off TV. We've gone back really to PPC and Facebook and influence marketing, and really a referral program, really our top performing channels now.
What does your referral program look like?
Yeah, so it's a pretty typical referral program. We're using Yotpo, which is a well-known referral tool out in the industry. A lot of e-commerce companies use them, and it's just one of the things of taking our existing consumers, right, our existing subscribers, and turning them into brand ambassadors. And so we reward them with what we call Kitty coins, and you get coins put into your account, and basically it's just free money. We have some customers that are getting boxes from us for several years into the future for free because they've referred to us so many customers, right? And so there's no better way to acquire a customer than somebody that came to us as a referral from somebody that's already using our product. And I like to say we have just raging fans. I mean, we have, I think at this point, 26,000 5-star reviews on our website, and those aren't made up reviews. Those are all coming through Yotpo. You could read, if you wanted to, every single one of them on our website. And, we have everything in between. We're not all 5-star reviews. We have some people that hate our product and it's not a good fit for them. That would be a lie. And any business out there, right, that says they don't have any 1-star reviews, I would say, never going to happen.
It's never going to happen.
But we do have 26,000 5-star reviews, and people love us. And so we really incentivize those people with referral Kitty coins that we just deposit basically money into your account, and you can apply that towards future free product.
Do you have any sense of the lifetime value of that sort of customer, a referred customer, or even one that's referring other people versus ones that come in through the Facebook or pay-per-click channels?
Yeah, so I couldn't tell you the exact statistics, but I could tell you that it's certainly stronger, right? And what we found with, and I would say probably a lot of your guests on here have probably found it with their businesses as well, is that anytime you're running a campaign to where people are not familiar with you, they're coming into the front end of your site, and you're incentivizing them with some big deal, right? 30% off, 40%. The bigger the promotion, the less sticky that consumer is going to be, because they are going to just take advantage of the cheap offer. They're going to try your product, and probably money was more of an issue for them. And so what we found is actually the lower the campaign, the less attractive will be to new customers, but the longer we'll keep them. So like in our particular business, our LTV on an average customer is about 17 and a half months.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's a long time. And people like the product, and it's also a consumable, right? It's a product that's a need versus a want. So many, and even guests on your program, right? So many of the products they sell are a want. If you have a cat, you may not have our product, but you need some type of litter box solution. Yeah.
What have you seen in terms of competition? Have others popped up that are trying to do the same type of thing? And what really do you think, keeps your customer from maybe going to a cheaper option like a Chewy.com or something like that, where they could just do the traditional route?
Yeah. So right now there isn't anything in the market that directly is a orange to orange. Most are apple to oranges in terms of competitive product to ours. What you typically see if you go to like a Petco, PetSmart, a Walmart, or an Amazon, is in the disposable litter box space. It tends to be more of an egg crate, like a compressed paper. If egg carton, if you go and get egg carton,
Okay.
that
Sure.
turned into a little litter box, and um, they sit about 6 inches high. They don't have any sidewalls. They're not really designed to last. Well, they're not designed to last for a month. They're designed to last for a few days to a week, and then to be replaced and more litter to be dumped into it. And our product is designed to last for an entire month. Our product is actually 10 inches high, so it contains the litter. Cats tend to obviously bury their waste or try to, move litter around. They dig in it, they flick litter out of the box. Our product contains that litter. It creates a very clean space in your home, and it's designed to last for a full month. And it doesn't leak, it doesn't need to be replaced, and there's enough litter in there to last for a full month. So you're not like taking litter out and having to replace it, and it really creates a minimally maintenance product.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. So I'm curious, you've been at this now for 6 or 7 years. You've remained very focused on this box. Has there been a temptation to get into other cat-related things or even other pets as well? Or are you determined to stay focused on the cat?
No, so it's a good question. Actually, we do sell a lot of other cat-related products, and so we offer food, we offer toys, treats, litter box accessories, mats, domes, scoops, all that type of product to drive up average order value of our customers, and really not to be an entirely one-stop shop for cat owners, but somewhat close. We had some challenges in really competing with some of the larger retailers like Chewy and Amazon in the food space. So we tend to pull back on that a lot and really focusing more on treats. Where we found that to be a great recipe for us is if you have a pet, whether it's a dog or a cat, you're a little bit more tied to I need my pet food when I need it. I'm running in a run out in a day or two and I need it now. And, Chewy and Amazon, they'll get you that in 1 to 2 days. Our business model is very different. Our boxes are designed to last for a full month. And so typically what we're trying to do where we add value is what we can parlay into that box to ship that will last you that full month. And we found food to be very challenging there because people don't plan for a full month. I just order food a day or two in advance when we need it. So we ship the entire United States from our manufacturing and distribution facility here in Ohio. And in some places, we average right now about 5 days nationwide on average to get a product anywhere in the U.S. Now, that's taking into effect, Washington State and Oregon and Idaho and some remote locations all the way to, East Coast here. So like areas like butting up to us, Michigan, Pennsylvania, the Southeast, we're getting you a box in 2 days from your order, but shipping really isn't that big of a component because it really only is on your first order. So the first order may take you 5 or 6 days to get your box as it goes through the shipping process. But after that, your box is arriving every month at the same time when you need it. And so things like treats and toys and other products, they're not as tied to time. I'll just give my cat a treat every once in a while or whatever it is. And it's a good consumable that fell into our subscription model. So we've had a lot of success with that because it works with the shipping model.
Gotcha. Have you looked at going outside of cats? I presume there are other animals that need litter like.
Yeah, we're looking at doing some things in the dog space right now. So many, actually about 60% of cat owners also have dogs as well. And so we're looking at some things that we can do in that dog space. We were calling them Kitty Poo Club pals, that a dog owner would throw in a treat or a toy or something for their dog when that product comes. And so we haven't launched that yet, but we've started to develop some of those ideas out. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Any other big plans for the future? Any other product lines, or stay focused on this and grow that side of the business?
Yeah, we're going to continue to grow this side of the business. I think we're very interested in following in the footsteps of many other successful D2C companies, and that's moving into retail space. And so we would offer retail products that aren't in direct competition to what we're selling on our website, whether it's, some type of customized SKU. We just have seen such a massive response from our D2C customers that it makes sense to move into some retail space. So at this point, we haven't entered the Amazon space. We haven't entered any big box retailers. And so that's a part of our growth plans for sure.
Gotcha. Would these retails be partnering with other retails, or are you thinking about actually opening your own retail shops?
No, this would be partnering with existing retail. Yeah, we wouldn't be interested in opening anything on our own.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Well, Chad, this has been a lot of fun, and it's been so great to hear about how you've grown this. Sounds like it's been, a fantastic product that has been well received by the market. For anybody listening today that maybe has questions about what we talked about or wants to learn more about the product itself, where are the best places for them to go?
Just kittypooclub.com. You can order the product from there. And I think we have a pretty comprehensive website and a lot of FAQs that can answer any questions that you have. There's lots of videos, and you'll see the product in action. So
awesome. Well, again, Chad, thanks so much. Appreciate you taking the time to come on the show, and best of luck to you guys in the future.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it, Nick. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.